Davies in the middle. Checks back against Carter and scores. That is atypical for the Amina Margot.
Quickly gets it back again. Oh, what a goal! Well, that sums up her season. The Gunners are WSL champions.
Hello everyone, welcome back to a special edition of Vic Akers Wonderland. We are joined as always by the lovely Lottie. How are you?
Yeah, I'm alright. I'm a bit cold. I'm wrapped up on my sofa tonight. So a bit of a different setting for me, but not too far away from my usual haunt. But yeah, no, I'm alright. I'm alright, apart from being cold all the time. How are you?
I'm not too bad. I've been through a bit of a roller coaster at the moment, but we'll talk about that in a bit. We should really introduce the how should I say this nicely? The wind-up merchant, that is Adam. Lottie is laughing in the background, everyone.
Yes,
That
yes.
chuckle. That chuckle.
Yes.
What was that? That's like
Maniacal.
evil. Yeah, that's the word.
Laughter. I have been doing my fair share of winding up. I mean, those of you who follow my Twitter sphere / X sphere, I have been fishing and they have been biting.
Excuse me, please use the correct terms while we're on the pod, please.
Which
Trolling.
is? Oh, trolling. Oh, trawling. That's it. Yeah,
Trawling.
trawling. Yeah, there's trolling and there's trawling, and I have been trawling. But yes, like Lottie, it is cold. You know, winter has come, as they say. So I've had to open up the old boiler and turn her up to 11. Get some heat circulating, thankfully. But yes, it's been as we're going to get to, Matt, it's been a bit of a wild international break. Lots happened and plenty to discuss.
Yes, there's plenty to discuss, and just on a news front, that I think this is going to be best later down the line as a discussion, because the Champions League has officially been given the green light from 25 to 26, new European competition, as well as a complete overhaul of the decision, basically replicate the men's. Won't go into too much of it, but I'm sure we'll have a huge discussion on that in the future. I thought this would be a really good one. Chloe Lacasse is doing cameos for a rehab clinic in the US. So every time that you do like a little 40-second video, you pay £40. She does a little video for you. That goes towards a rehab clinic in the US and helps to get their funding. So nice little idea if you're struggling for birthday or Christmas ideas. There's something for someone there. As we are on international duty today, Leah Williamson was at Wembley for the Netherlands game. She was handing out legacy caps, and unfortunately I didn't catch the names of those that were invited, but Leah Williamson was one of the Lionesses. How important is it to recognise the legacy that the Lionesses have?
Massively important. The Lionesses nowadays, they're everywhere. They are on the billboards, they're on the backpacks of crisps, they're everywhere on the TV. Leah, as you say, is doing a we might discuss later. She's got a special thing coming up this weekend about piano playing. But there are celebrities. They're among us. They're on the League of Their Own. Jill Scott's doing that. But their success and their notoriety is built on the foundation of a few who were invisible, who we don't know about. Now I've been doing a lot of trying to do a bit of backwards research with women's football, not the Lions, just women's football in general. And you go past, let's say, 10, 15 years, and you just go off a cliff into a void of nothingness. There's no information. There's hardly any pictures. There's hardly any videos. And it's unfair that these players, these former legends, get wiped off the face of the earth. And I think one of them was, I think it's Carol Thomas, I think, got one of the caps. She was one of the first, I think, captains for the Lionesses, played in the game in 1984, the Euro final. And it was, very good that we're finally catching up and recognising these players. I was at Wembley for the game, and they had a piece in the programme, talking about the players that played in their first, I think it was the first ever game between them and the Netherlands, way back. And it was a really good piece just to recognise the Lionesses we never knew, which, yeah, it's a bit late now, but I'm glad it is happening, and it is a good chance to educate fans who, I think for a lot of them, jumped onto the hype train during the Euros. You know, myself and Matt, we've known the Lionesses a bit before then, but for a lot of people, their Lionesses aren't Kelly Smith, aren't, say, Rachel Yankee. It is the likes of Leah Williamson and Millie Bright. That is Lionesses, and there are plenty more that need recognition, and this is a good step by the FA.
And we'll just bring it back to the Arsenal, because she's at it again. She scores bangers, and her trophy cabinet is so full at the moment. I'm wondering if she has to build an extension on her house. Lottie, Katie McCabe has been given the Irish International Players of the Year award. So, what again? Another award for Katie. Is it great to get that recognition?
Of course it is. What kind of question is that? Let's be honest. For Katie, she's a leading light over for Irish football at this point. She's captain. She's just a firecracker, and everybody knows what she's like, especially if you're an Arsenal fan. She puts 150% into everything that she does when she plays for Arsenal. She does it for Ireland as well, and it's something that you want to see from your players, and it's also inspires the next generation. And within that next generation, you have the likes of Katie's sister, who is coming through the ranks as well. And again, it's given her sister the opportunity to inspire what her sister's doing. I remember seeing an interview with her sister, and she was asked if she was anything like Katie, and she turned around and said, "Yes, I am. We get that from our older brother, because that's how they play with the boys over in Ireland." And it's just really exciting to see, and see what happens next if Katie continues down this road she's going down, which we know she will.
And just on another Arsenal front, Jonas has been given Manager of the Month awards, fully deserved. Obviously, with everything that went on.
I'm a bit disappointed by this one, actually, because it really puts our chances against Chelsea at risk, because we all know that if a manager wins Manager of the Month, there is a curse. We see it all the time. And so I wish Emma Hayes had won it. You know, I'm not going to say I voted for. I didn't, but I really wish I had. Now we could have, scuppered it before the game this weekend. Seriously though, yes, Jonas has done a terrific job. We've had a bit of a ropey start in October, but we've been superb this November to get our season back on track. We're now only 3 points behind Chelsea. 4 wins. Plenty of goals. I think 2 clean sheets. I think we've only conceded about 3 goals. I think it is now. He's done a really good, really strong November, and I think more than the wins, it's the month players have been able to integrate better into the team. We're starting to see a bit more from the likes of Lacasse, from the likes of Ilestead. Cadina's had a few games. Russo's had a few more games under a belt. Scored against Leicester. So all good on that front. Well deserved. Hopefully he'll win a few more. Because he deserves it. He's one of our best managers in the league. Just got to hope it doesn't backfire when we play Chelsea this weekend.
Lottie, shook your head a couple of times there.
Yeah, don't believe in superstition, because Arteta's had that a few times and we've been fine. So, But again, it is Emma Hayes, and she always seems to pull something out the bag. So we'll see what happens when the game comes on Sunday.
So just before I go into some podcast news, 55,000 tickets sold so far, just a bit over that now. Adam, you've been running up and down with the seats so many times in the past. What does it mean to you to have a nearly packed out stadium?
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I mean, I started doing it when Chelsea actually was I think two seasons ago now, back in 21, and I was, beating the drum and trying to encourage people to come along, and we only managed I say this sort of madness, like 8,000. I was happy with that. I was like, wow, 8,000 fans at the Emirates. What a statement, because in the previous attempt we'd had, which by coincidence was also against Chelsea. I think it was Chelsea or Liverpool, one of the two. I think it was actually Liverpool, but it was always like 1,000, 2,000. It wasn't 8,000 was this huge step forward. Double what we could get at Meadow Park, and it's just got better and better and better in the league, to the extent that Wolfsburg happened, which was incredible. And yes, there was a lot of me going, as we're trying to build this, get people to come along. I would be taking screenshots of the stadium and saying, these are the tickets available, come on, let's keep going, we're at 30,000, 40,000, whatever it is. But now there's no need, because it's happening naturally. The likes, last season with Wolfsburg, we had all the advertisements of the players telling, every 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. We're now getting them just at the tail end, just to trying to get them to sell those last few seats. We haven't need to heavily advertise it, and I don't need to spend every day checking the running totals and seeing how close we are, because it's happening now. It's absolutely fantastic. Proud of not only the club team, but also the fans who are making this happen. We're all going to be there. Well, I hope we all are. And I can't wait for it. I mean, whatever happens on the pitch, what we've done in the stands for it will make up for that, and I can't wait.
You've also had a bit of a debate online, haven't you, about this? Like, what would you rather have? The trophies or the attendances? And I think, if you think about it, what would I rather have at the moment? I would rather have the attendances than the fans. What's the point in having, say, 5,000 fans? Lottie's looking at me in a shape, so I'll bring it in a sec. But what's the point of having?
I don't think you've realised what you just said.
Yeah, I should add as a bit of a clarification to that, Matt, because it's not quite as simple. It was more the fact that, whilst I was saying, would you rather A or B, is the fact that is what happened between Arsenal and Chelsea, that Arsenal have had the better attendances, Chelsea have had more of the trophies. So it's not so much say, do you want A or B, but it was more of which path would you have preferred that has happened, And what was interesting is that all the Arsenal fans were happy with the path Arsenal have taken, whereas all the Chelsea fans were happy with all the path Chelsea. There wasn't any, let's say, looking over the garden fence and longingly wishing for their neighbour's lawn. No. It was very much that both. But I do take the point with Matt. I mean, yes, trophies define success. I mean, that's the whole point of football. You want to win a trophy. You don't not want to win a trophy. But at the same time, I have felt, this is my personal opinion with Chelsea. Chelsea has sacrificed building the game, building the fan base, growing the attendances for the sake of solely focusing on becoming a trophy-winning machine, which has generated trophy success for them. But it also means that when you go to a Champions League game to watch them play FC Paris at Stamford Bridge, you only got about 3,000 fans in the East Stand, which isn't a good look. And whereas Arsenal may not won anything, we now have this amazing culture around the stadium. We have the red and white with the fan marches, and people are praising Arsenal, saying, look at the amazing stuff they're doing, growing the game, being an example of what you could do as a club with the fans and the players to become that's they are two shows of greatness. That was more of the point. But no, would you say, would you rather not win trophies? Of course I would, but I'm proud of what Arsenal have done, and I think that stands on its own merit. So
let me just rephrase that. Essentially, that everything that has been built from the supporters club, because that's where it initially started.
Oh yeah.
They've done the worked their socks off to try and get everyone and anyone involved, trying to put out tweets, trying to get messages out, trying to sort out away ticketing and things like that as well, to make sure that no matter what, there's still that allocation. So I'll take Prenton Park at this current moment. The news has gotten out. We've only got a ticket. We've only been given 100,000.
Wow, excellent.
1,000 at the moment. But I imagine that we could easily 3,000 or 4,000. Prenton Park's a 10,000 seater stadium. I could see Arsenal overtaking the Cowsheds, which is the allotted allocation for the away team when Tranmere play, and perhaps even the there is another end. It's just really small. Is it a cow shed? No, I can't remember it's a small stand, but you'd fit a couple of thousand in no problem. I could imagine both Arsenal having that, and then Liverpool saying having the Kop, and then the Johnny King stand, which they usually do have. But every single time Arsenal have been setting attendances records, home or away. Well, not all at home.
The away support is the big thing. As great as we've got the home attendances going, what I think really shows something for the fan base is the trips home. And Farah, who's part of the supporters club and the Red and White, was actually talking about this on, I think it was a podcast with, I forget the name, but it's the one with Girls on the Ball. And she was talking about how much they've worked together to get to focus on building up the away support with the travelling, getting Arsenal to. The olden days would be if you wanted an away ticket, you'd have to go to the rival club and subscribe to them and then buy a ticket through them. And they've worked with Arsenal to ensure reserved allocation for away fans. So you could buy your ticket through the Arsenal website, and there will be a dedicated area which is defined as your away slot, like you would with the men's team. And that's the sort of work they've had to do with the club and the WSL. And I don't think every club does that. But it's that sort of stuff that needs to happen. That's stuff Arsenal have happened, and that's the lead that other clubs need to do. They truly want to grow the sport, and they want this to be the sport it should be. Then there needs to be an element of collaboration with other clubs and their respective supporters clubs to make sure that we have a strong away support. Because the away support in Leicester was amazing. I was away we were both at the Southampton game. That was a really good day out. Well, night out, and especially if we won. But that was amazing, and the Spurs game as well. One of the best games I went to was when we outnumbered the Spurs home fans because the away support was so strong. That's what needs to start happening as well. It's not just the home fans. We need to make sure we've got a good away support as well.
Not long till a repeat of that now, is there, boys?
No, not long at all. Not long at all.
I was going to say, just
We're all
before
we
bring you in, Lottie, on this, just quickly as well. I remember myself and Brian, when we were talking about ticketing, doing things like that. That was a huge thing. I remember contacting Reading. I remember contacting Manchester United. Some of these clubs refuse to budge. Like they'll make sure that you're mixing with other fans, and it gets to the point where you can't make any noise because you're so surrounded in, and it causes more of a panic. I think as well. Last season away to Man City, we were meant to have one section. And then everyone moved across. So all the City fans decided to take that section. So you had about 4 or 5 Arsenal fans on where we were supposed to be sitting, whereas the rest were all in that standing area. And just to put it into account as well, there are people who do travel home and away that don't have that access ability to stand for 90 minutes plus. And it is a concern. But again, it's something that they need to work on. But Lottie, the whole ticketing thing, just your opinions as a whole. I know we've hit the nail on the head a couple of times, but.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, Adam always seems to find the perfect words to say and just nail it completely. And yes, you can chuckle there all you like, sir.
Start calling me a hammer. All these nails I'm hammering home.
I can think of a couple of names for you instead of that. They're not very polite. But anyway, the ticketing thing, it's a case like I can't be prouder of our club and the supporters club to be pushing this all the way forward the way it is. It's what we needed. We're the leading light in this league. I don't see any other club doing this right now. You want, as Adam says, you want the sports to grow. You've got to start looking at this and start separating the fans. Although the culture for many years has been, we all get on. We're nothing like the men's culture. We all get on. It's all family orientated, but it's not going to stay like that forever. And that is the consequence of growth and people actually attending games. You're going to want that away end. It's like, I know for the upcoming Tottenham, we've got 3 stands up in the White Hart Lane?
Three blocks.
Yeah, 3 blocks. Yeah. Not stands. What am I talking about?
That was. I mean, if we got 3 stands at the Spurs Stadium, we filled them. I mean, that's going to be some.
But it's been a long week. It's been a very long week. So we've got 3 stands, and
not 3 stands. 3 blocks. We've got 3 blocks, and yes.
And that alone, with Tottenham willing to work with Arsenal on that, is absolutely brilliant. But I'm pretty sure we'll probably outnumber the Spurs fans anyway.
We can only hope and dream.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Because we're all sitting together, so yeah.
Just a very quick one on the end of this, because this is an argument that needs to come up when, especially with the first time with the derby at the Spurs Stadium. These tickets aren't free. All these tickets have been given away. They've not been passed on. These are tickets that have been bought and paid for. They have monetary value, and they are a reasonable value. I think they have gone slightly up with the Emirates tickets, but it's not been a charity. This hasn't been we need to give it away for free to fill the room. These are people who have paid for it because they want to be there.
Well, from Arsenal's end anyway.
From the perspective, yeah. And I think that says a lot, and it also shows that the game is absolutely profitable, that people are willing to pay to go to these games. As stupid as it sounds.
As well as the fact that although it's away, the away end are gold dust. You are not finding any spares, full stop.
No, yeah.
So just a little bit of podcast news. We got the biggest surprise of the week on Wednesday. I couldn't believe it. And when
I think the best way to describe it, just for everyone, I don't see Matt get this excited very often. So I was a bit concerned whether it was a red flag for me or not when I first heard it. Before he finally showed us what happened. I mean, Adam, what was your reaction to that?
I think this is the most excited Matt has been since he since that photo. Since Chloe Kelly scored in the Euro. This is the most excited Matt has been, and every right to be so.
The one I took at the
yes,
the one that's his profile picture. He is the most excited Matt has been since then, and he's every right to be so, because it is fantastic news. We are honoured. We are incredibly grateful. This is someone, the Arsenal women, the players have been amazing, and we wouldn't be there without players, but we would also not be there without the most successful Arsenal manager in its history, better than George Graham, better than Wenger. He's trophy-wise, he's won the lot with them, won more trophies than all of them, and has won a European Cup. Won the Champions League, should I say? So yes, Matt. Why don't you tell our listeners and viewers who has followed us on Twitter?
Well, you've given it all away. Vic Akers, the man who's named after this podcast, when we were thinking of what we were going to call ourselves, it was one of the names I just threw out there. I just didn't know what to expect, and as
that was the one that really fitted. We all liked it, so
yeah.
It was just one of those ones that sort of represented the club's history. And if you didn't know the history, it is out there. And Vic is a huge part of that. The fact that the supporters, it took a while, but the supporters club eventually offered him an honorary membership, which he's taken up. And I was lucky enough to be in the proceedings to give him his badge during, oddly enough, in that Chelsea game.
This was January. Last season, wasn't it? This was last season. You were on because I've seen you. There's a picture of you on the pitch at half time with the man himself. So you have met Vic Akers, Obi. What was he? Did you have a chance to speak to him or talk to him at all?
Not much. It was more of just again. It was like a very wintry game, so everyone's got their big coats on and making sure everyone's warm. It was a bit odd as well with the sun shining as well. So you got half the board members can't see anything, and the other half are hidden in the shadows. So it's a bit funny, but I just remember him talking and saying that he still has his tactical brain. He would say, I remember one of the members asked him if he'd be interested, what he would do at half time, what they needed to improve on, and things like that. And he was so insightful, and he is everything. I think the best way to describe it, I can't really describe him with that, because he's such a nice person. Like I'm trying to think of some. If you were just passing him on the street and say your phone dropped or anything like that, he'll be that guy that goes, by the way, you dropped your phone, or and he'll be the guy that gives you back your wallet if your wallet's on the floor or something like that.
Yeah.
That's the type of guy he is. That's what I got from that little interaction, and he is really special. The fact you've written off all the awards that he's trophies he's won for the Arsenal over the years. Effectively, he got the success, and although Arsenal failed a little bit and now are slowly bringing that back, just goes to show that there are times when you do miss a manager, and if you don't have them involved, or they don't have, once they're gone, that's it. So I'm going to use Emma Hayes in this because as soon as she goes, you imagine that the hammer's going to fall. Essentially, whoever's going to come in, they'll go on a losing streak for say 6 games, they'll get sacked, and they'll bring someone else in. There's going to be a merry-go-round in the summer. We already know that with contracts over there running out. I think it's about 9 or 10 of their players overall. So they've got that to look forward to. But just Vic is a huge part of Arsenal, and it's great that we're doing something that we enjoy and we love, and he's recognised that as well, and he's decided to also follow someone else. I think we should let her talk about it because
she's been very quiet on this one. So
Yeah, I know. Oh, thanks, boys. Thank you very much.
always hogging the
I got a
spotlight.
follow from Vic this afternoon, which left me literally in happy tears. Like even my my landlord knocked on my front door and said, "Are you all right?" Because obviously I'm jumping around the house, going, "Oh my god," freaking out. But yeah, no, it's such an honor to be followed on social media by someone who's inspired the pod, and it's just I can't put it into words. I'm just so happy about it, and just honored, to be honest with you.
we wouldn't be here doing this now if it wasn't for Vic Akers. You know,
Absolutely.
we wouldn't have the one thing that all Chelsea fans desire but don't have if it wasn't for Vic Akers. You know,
I think every team in England desires that Champions
yeah, I know,
League
but
trophy,
I mean,
but
no, I meant clout. But also, but we had history and yes, a Champions League trophy, obviously. Arsenal women would not be as much as it obviously goes to players, obviously, like Kelly Smith and said Rachel Yankee and Marianne Spacey and you know Emma Burns. So too many to name. But Arsenal women would not be seen as this titan, as this trendsetter of women's football, leading change, inspiring the rest to follow in their lead in how to do things the right way. They would not be in this position if it wasn't for the management of Vic Akers to lead the Arsenal women to years and years and years of greatness, of success, of league trophies, FA Cup trophies. Again, we bring up the Champions League. It's the foundations. We've had the best foundations possible to build this club. And yes, we did take our eye off the ball, and we did stumble. We did stumble when we left. And no different from Man United stumbling after Ferguson. No different from us fumbling a bit after Wenger left. It happens. We got it wrong. But we're getting it right now. And hopefully, you know, Jonas is under new contract. You know, hopefully he can bring back the league titles that Vic brought us all those years ago. And yes, it's just for me, it's just say, you know, thank you for what you gave us, Vic, down the years, and thanks for your support from all of us. It means a huge amount. And I sit in the East Stand, and occasionally you get one or two famous people. I mean, Serena Wiegman's walked past, for example, where I sit in the East Stand. I have seen Vic walk past, and it's almost like I can't say anything. It's like so, like it's like I'm not worthy to talk to someone like Vic because he's so a legendary figure. I think all I got was like a thanks, Vic, for everything, and then that's all I could do because it was just, and I think he just gave me a yeah, cheers, mate, and that was it. But yeah, I can't put into any more words just what a special figure he is, and yeah, thank you very much because that meant a lot to us. And if you are listening, I hope you're enjoying the pod, and we haven't made you too much.
Just before we do as well, because we've had an influx of people actually following the podcast on Twitter now, so we do want to thank everyone that has followed. Just another bit of a special one because a Sky presenter as well also decided to follow us, and Caroline Barker.
Yeah, quick shout out. Caroline Barker obviously does the great, I think it's 3 Players in the Pod with our Jen Beatty and our Rachel Yankee and Izzy Christensen. And yes, she's followed our Twitter account as well. So again, if you're listening in Caroline, thanks a lot for the support and keep up doing the amazing presenting on Sky. Really appreciate the top quality coverage you and the team to provide for the WSL.
Yeah, it really means a lot that we've got people that following us now, and even something small like that, it goes a huge way. Like, we can't put it into words how much it means. I mean, Adam's tried to do her best. I think Lottie's tried to best. She's sitting there smugly.
Yeah, you can say smugly. Like, it's just sometimes it's the little things that make you keep going, sort of thing. Sometimes you sit there and you see things change, and it's just like, okay, are we doing this for the right reasons? And then you get little things like the last 24 hours, and it's like, okay, we are doing something right, and I'm still going to continue this because I enjoy it. I get to sit on this, like, talk to you guys twice on a weekly basis about one of my favorite subjects with two of my closest friends, and nothing's going to ever change that.
No. This is getting very emotional, and
Sorry,
we still haven't got onto the England games yet, which are also very emotional for different reasons.
I'll just quickly sum up the news double quickly. Then the WSL stickers that we have been fondly awaiting, officially on sale from the 14th. So pre-order on Panini. Also, Fowdies are looking to have got them available. So just make sure you're checking everywhere when they come available, because I'm sure that a lot of people will be looking for swaps at games and all sorts. So be prepared, everyone. And if you are looking for Christmas gifts, that's maybe something that you can give them. That's maybe your introduction into the WSL and women's football. And so be it. It's a nice little present for people for Christmas.
Absolutely.
But we should get on to the game. And we were, as Adam was there, England, Netherlands. I have fond memories of England Netherlands at Wembley. I was there. I was meant to be there during when there was the London riots in 2013. Didn't go ahead. Went to the rearranged fixture, and all I remember is seeing this sea of orange and a random guy with an ostrich, orange. It was an orange ostrich in the crowd, and I've never seen any fans like it. The Netherlands are one of the top fans in the world. And what was the atmosphere in and around the stadium in that build up before it?
So we should say on the top of Netherlands fans, they're mad, but we love them for it, because there's a woman who I went to Box Park at Wembley, filled with people, filled with fans, lots of music, fantastic atmosphere, and there's some Dutch fans came in, and there was a woman dressed in orange with a huge lump of Edam on her head. And of course, that was getting a lot of pictures of all the fans. And apparently, she's quite famous. She does this a lot. Yes. And I think back to the Euros. There were blokes dressed in carrots. It was like roasting hot heat wave, and people were in 3-piece orange suits with huge orange hats. They're amazing, and amazing fan base that travel for their women's team as well and make that effort. We spoke about the away support for the WSL. They're big on supporting the women's team abroad, and they have amazing music that plays in the stand when they win. I was very lucky to be at the LSV when they did win a game, and that is very much worth watching. And they do great fan marches with their buses, which is also good fun. The atmosphere was good. I got there nice and early. Plenty of fans around, bit of excitement, bit of nerves, because obviously England had been a bit ropey going into these last two games. We'd lost two out of four. We'd lost our game away in the Netherlands. I was there for that as well, and that was a very good atmosphere. Didn't go so well for us. Lost away in Belgium, which was our previous game coming into this one. Game we should have probably drawn, if not won, but lost. So it was sort of a case of, we know we can beat the Netherlands. We beat them in Ellen Road before the Euros, and that went rather well. But we did lose to them, obviously, in Euro 2017, where it didn't go so well. And this is actually quite a talented Dutch side. They've obviously moved on from Mark Parsons. They've got Jonker in, who I believe used to be a coach with the Arsenal men many moons ago, and they're doing all right. So there was a lot of excitement, and it was good to see a huge presence as well. I think we might go to this later, but I think we came to about 70,000 in the end. It was around that ballpark, and everyone seemed up for it. I was with a good friend of mine who got tickets for a pair of us, and we were all very excited. Got to our seats early. All until the opening whistle, the whistle came kicked off. It was all positive, exciting vibes, even in the cold, and it was very cold. But it was all good, and then the game started.
And it could not have gotten off to a worse start. 10 minutes into the game, Lauren Hemp has an opportunity. Her shot is actually pushed away by Dom Stella. 10 minutes on the clock, and the referee decides it's a goal kick. Now, when you see that ball and you've seen that it's swerved, how can a ball doesn't swerve in the air unless there's like high wind or anything like that? That just natural physics. You don't see the push at all.
The trajectory, that's what it was. Wasn't it? The trajectory, I could see it in the stand that he'd been saved. It was a good save. It was a good shot from Hemp. It was a good save from Domsela, and I could see it was a save. And I think everyone in the stadium was just waiting for the corner kick to sustain the attack.
And the referee gives the goal kick, and everyone was a bit confused. You would have thought that the linesman would maybe made sure that no, that was a corner. There was nothing. There is no VAR, just to let everyone know, and for a lot of reasons, Lottie is loving it at the moment.
VAR wouldn't have made that call, though. We should say VAR wouldn't have made that call.
It wouldn't have made that call, but it's just I am chuckling to myself. Everybody knows my feelings on VAR, so let's just
move on.
Let's just leave VAR outside in the room in the cold where it
belongs.
Just give it 5 minutes and carry on. But basically, from that goal kick, the Netherlands build up the play. Eventually, the ball falls to Victoria Pelova, very much beloved, and she's been so crucial for this side this season. She's been very much given 8s, 9s, 10s each game, and she puts in a lovely through ball for Berenstein, and just as Berenstein does for Juventus, she goes wandering through, has the shot, and there's nothing anyone can do about it. At this moment in time, Adam, what were you witnessing in the stands?
It was horror. It was horror. The scary thing is, for the first 10 minutes, we were all right. I thought the press was good. Netherlands hadn't really got out of their half. They were conceding cheap fouls in their own half because they kept fouling us because our press was good. We were getting the turnovers, getting the possession, and it all built up to this crescendo that led to the Lauren Hemp chance. And I thought, okay, this is okay for us. And then one move, and it was gone. And defensively, it's so bad. Now, the defence has been a major problem of the Nations League. We'll probably go into a bit more on the second goal. But we started with a back four. It's a much changed defence because we know Leah Williamson's obviously out already with the ACL. Millie Bright was also out with a knock. I think I don't know if it was a head knock or knock that she's picked up with Chelsea in general.
I think it's her knee again because she was out last season towards the end because she was cleaning the knee out. Yeah.
So we basically got a patched up, cobbled together defence of 4 players who haven't really played together much, and especially in those positions. Charles does a lot of good work at the wing back, fullback for Chelsea, but is very new to the England setup. We've got Greenwood, who can play both. Started off as a left back, but has sort of been recalibrated to be a left side centre back. Bronze is pretty experienced at right back, and you've got Jess Carter. I've done a piece for Sporting Her to go over the failures of our Nations League, and I think Jess Carter is a brilliant defender. I should just put this out there. This is not a personal attack on her whatsoever, because I think she's an amazing defender. She does great things at Chelsea. She's a key cog of their defence. But my overriding feeling with Jess Carter is that she is not a back 4 defender. She's a back 3 defender, and she excels when you have 3 defenders in the back. And I think back to the World Cup, and I think back to that opening game against Haiti, and Jess Carter looked like a rabbit in the headlights, out of a depth, Haiti tore her to pieces, and we were playing in the back four. We went to the back 3/5, however you phrase that formation, and she looked brilliant to the extent that I think she was one of our best players in the World Cup final. I thought she had an amazing game against Spain, worked very hard to keep a very talented attack at bay. But in this game against the Dutch, she was in the back four, as Serena has played her a lot during these Nations League games, and away in the Netherlands and away in Belgium, she was in that back line as a back four defender, and the Netherlands were able to easily get past her, and likewise Belgium were easy to get past and get crucial goals. In this instance, there are two defensive calamities. There's an aerial clash just before the goal, before Plover gets the ball, that leads to a turnover. And then there is a second one. Palova spins a brilliant ball in behind the defence, and I think it's Carter and Bronze somehow get entangled. The basing, crashing over the box, and suddenly Bernstein has suddenly got the whole of the penalty area, literally 6 yards out, time to take a touch and just poke it past Earps. It is calamitous defending of the highest order, and it is unacceptable. It's just England's defence during the Euros was so good. I think we only conceded, I think it was 2 goals in the end. We were rock solid. But what we were seeing at Wembley was just amateur beyond belief. And I don't blame Jess Carter as defender. I blame the fact that Serena put her in a formation that did not appeal to her strengths, and I think struggled in that first half. And she was subbed off in the second half for Morgan, and I think that was a wise move. But I think, the defensive setup was wrong. We had a left wing back playing left back. We had a left back playing centre back. We had a centre back who should play the back three, and with Lucy Bronze. And I think that was a recipe disaster. And Bernstein is a quality, pacey forward. And I think it was like a shark smelling blood. She realised, I can get at this defence. And she did it time and time again after the goal. Luckily, we were able to catch her offside. But that really knocked England for 6. And I don't think we saw anything from them in that first half after that first goal.
And you do kind of sit and wonder what some of these players have to do to make sure that they are at least getting some sort of game time. So just for perspective, Jess Carter played 0 minutes in the Euros. Comes to the World Cup, she's now playing 4 minutes and everything.
I think she might have come off the bench against Southampton, but it would have been I don't know. I know that she might have done. What?
Southampton weren't in the Euros.
No, the game we had at the Euros against Northern Ireland.
Okay, that.
Yeah,
we are.
That's
I was just making sure you weren't like saying, "Oh yeah, Southampton were in the Euros."
I think she had a brief few minutes, but she didn't have a major role. She didn't have a major role because we predominantly played Millie Bright and Leah Williamson. They were our centre back pairings. We stuck with those centre back pairings throughout the tournament pretty much. But we went to Jess Carter because we didn't have Leah Williamson. And I think the reason we went Jess Carter, and for me, again, I put it in my piece, I think it was the logical conclusion, because who does Millie Bright play next to in defence? Jess Carter. Great. Because defence is not just about individual talent, it is about connections. It's about relationships. It's about knowing the player you're playing against. Why do you think it's taken so long for us to look defensively secure? Because for Arsenal, Lotta with Moy and Amanda Lested, we've had to play them for about, I'd say, 10 games or so. They're now understand each other, understand their positionings, understand when A goes short, B goes long, how they play offside together. We got very lucky with Lair and Haffer that they pretty much clicked from the off, but those connections take time. Now, the problem obviously with Serena and England is that we're having to make up a defence on the fly. And I look at that back four, those 4 players haven't played with each other a lot. Now, I know there was a lot of outcry from the Arsenal fans thinking, well, Lotta Wubben-Moy's doing very well for Arsenal. Why isn't she getting a game? And I think that's probably what you were leaning towards, Matt, is players like her, or players like Laetitia, who's done great things with Man United. Millie Turner's come in off the bench, but you'd have the same problems. That as much as you would have maybe individual talent, they wouldn't necessarily have the chemistry and the knowledge of how to play with each other. So it works both. Maybe it could have been different, but I think you may have encountered the same problems of basically 4 players who did not know how to play with each other.
So we'll just quickly move on to the second goal. 34 minutes. Again, Bernstein has the shot. It's is one of those ones when you're the goalkeeper that you think you've got it, and it just, unfortunately, for whatever reason, it slips through your grip, or you get a touch and then it hits the post and then it just rolls in. I know someone that I've played with where he's been so unlucky where it's come from corners where it's hit the post and hit his back and gone in. And it's just part of the game. But I think the issue was that a lot of people were going after the game. Oh, you cost us this, and it's part and parcel of the game. You're never going to be able to, as a goalkeeper, rectify all of your mistakes. At some point you're going to make a couple of mistakes, and that isn't just at top level. That's for every single level. And I think it was what she was saying afterwards, I think Ian Wright summed up quite perfectly. She doesn't need to beat herself up over it.
No. When moments like that happen, there are multiple points of failure. We did not. Earps has made a mistake, and that's led to the goal being conceded. But Earps was not the reason why we were in the position where she had to make that mistake, because there was defensive errors that if they hadn't happened, we wouldn't even be talking about this. You watched, I think. We had 3 defenders all on one side of the pitch. I think we had Carter, who kicked long, was now in the fullback position. So you had Bronze, Carter, and Greenwood in completely the wrong order on the defence, all gathered over the right-hand side of the pitch, and Charles isolated on the left. The Netherlands knock it back. I think we missed 2 50-50s. There's a miscue. I think might have even been from one of the. It might be from Carter, I think it was. And then suddenly Bernstein's got a 1v1 with Alex Greenwood, roasts her. And Bernstein should shoot better, because she should bury that with ease. Mary Earp shouldn't even have a chance, and she did, and sadly she got it wrong. But there was defensive calamities, and I bring it back to the connections and the relationships, and there was no chemistry in that defence. There was no sense of structure, no knowledge of who's picking up who should be in which position. It was just a clustered mess, and in this instance, Earps is the one that's got the slated, because you are the last line of defence. It's the goalkeeper, and when these things happen, the focus is on you. Especially they focus on Mary Earps' face, because they know they'll get a bit of profanity potentially on the camera, which is always good, because we know how we saw in the derby how she reacted when that ball got deflected into the net. So yeah. Earps has made a mistake. There's no 2 ways about it. But the goal is not solely on her. The goal is on the back line. The goal is on the players who did not clear that ball away when they had the chance to lose the 50-50 duels. I think it bounced through about 2 or 3 players until it got back into the box. And we're watching it and we're thinking, oh, what on earth? Like, what on earth are we doing? And yeah, when it happened, when Earps is making mistakes like that for England, you're in major, major, major trouble. And yeah, 2-0 half time. I think we were sort of fearing the worst, because there was nothing in that first half that I saw that thought we could change it. I thought we have to change either the formation or we have to bring subs on, because whatever we did, however we were meant to the first half, we should say in the attack, we offered pretty much nothing, and we started with 3 wingers. Hemp was utilised as a striker in this instance, James and Kelly on the wings. And yeah, I couldn't see, not that I didn't believe England could win, but I just knew that as we weren't going to win it if things stayed as they were.
And
I think.
Sorry, go on, Lottie.
Sorry, I think also, like, just referring back to comments like people going after Mary Earps, I think that's really unfair. I've always said, and I know Matt, you agree with me as a part of the goalkeepers union. Keepers always learn on the job. They can't learn anything in training. And if we look back at the Euros, there's only 2 goals. I think, as Adam said earlier, 2 goals that she let in. She had a decent World Cup, and she's England's number 1 for a reason. I look at our other keepers, and there's not one of them I trust to be in that goal rather than Mary Earps, regardless of what happened. She got her fingertips to that, and she just didn't get a proper grip on it. So I don't think it's completely unfair that they've gone after her, saying it's her fault, because you've got to look up what led to her being put in that position, and then go from there.
I do imagine though that we've got one future keeper number that's potentially going to be a number 1 in Kiara Keating, but again, she needs the experience. She's not going to get that experience just yet. She's only 19 years old at the moment, so
exactly, she's got plenty of time.
Yeah. We should go on with Chloe Kelly hits the shot wide, and I think this effort just shows how out of sync England were in that first half.
Yeah.
The shot herself, she didn't actually need to shoot. Had the opportunity with Lucy Bronze on the overlap to slide it in, and then Bronze could have quite easily put that cross in. Kelly could have jumped in and scored the header. Again, what ifs scenarios? The header could have been thrown away, it could have gone wide, etc. But it was an opportunity that had different outcomes, and it kind of just showed that England went up to scratch in that first half.
Well, it's been the same throughout the whole Nations League. There's been no chemistry in the attack. There's been no joining of the dots. Everything has sort of been relying on the individuals because there's been no chemistry. Again, we haven't had Beth Mead. Fran Kirby's only just come back from injury. We've got no Ellen White anymore. We've had to try and create a new attack and a new midfield as well with some players. I just don't think there has been that chemistry that the knowledge of where the players are going to be. You said Chloe Kay took that shot. There were better options around her, but she took that shot. There was a moment when Charles got a brilliant burst down the left, but the rest of the team weren't in the box for the cross. They didn't know that was the move she's going to make, and she ended up just running it straight out of play. Lauren James just taking pot shots straight over the bar, not knowing where the players are going to be in the box. And that's been the entire Nation campaign, and that's why we've only beaten Belgium 1-0. It's why we struggled to create anything in the second half away in Belgium. And it's been a real problem. In that first half, I think the only real effort we had was that Hemp moment, where there was obviously the mistake, but I'm not going to use that as an excuse to justify the goal that came afterwards, because there was a lot of stuff that happened that England failed to. But that has been the big problem: is where is the chemistry attack? Where are the players need to connect, and there was no connection.
And it was, as you've mentioned a bit earlier, Esme Morgan comes on just to shore up that defence, a little bit of something different, and all of a sudden, 58 minutes on the clock.
Well, hang on. We should also mention that Beth Mead came on for Chloe Kelly as well at half time. That was the big one. Let's not forget that she's made her return.
Yes,
from ACL.
I'm sure she loved that.
Yeah, she did.
Going back at Wembley.
Huge roar from the crowd. Huge roar from the crowd.
Yeah. So 58 minutes on the clock. Who opens the scoring? Georgia Stanway.
Yeah.
And she essentially, it's a brilliant cross in, and she's gotten first to the ball, and that's it. Ball's gone into the back of the net. Nothing else to it. Get back in. Get this game back underway as quickly as possible, because the scenario going in was England needed 2 clear goals to top the group.
They had to win by 2 clear goals to top the group, because it goes to head-to-head records before goal difference. So they had to win by 2 clear goals to basically be in command going into the final game. And we were, rather than being 2 goals ahead, we were 2 goals behind. So and it's a great cross from Lauren James. But this was what I mentioned earlier about when Neen Charles had that run and no one's in the box. England filled the box up. We had players in there, because it wasn't just down. I think Hemp was in there, Beth was in there, Kirby was in there. We had players who were pushing into the box rather than hanging on the edge of the D. So when Lauren James whips a great cross in, England have plenty of options, and it's brilliant header from Stanway, gets us back in the game. Wembley is up in the air, thinking fantastic. We've got a goal to celebrate, and gave us a foothold in the game, which based on the first half, I couldn't see us doing. But it was I think I'm stupid, obviously, wise after event. The game did obviously spin on that.
2 minutes later, Lauren Hemp gets the equaliser. Again, no celebration. Grab the ball and make sure that we can get the restart underway. Adam, do you want to describe it a little bit more?
Yeah, again, brilliant passing move around the edge of the box. I think it's Mead who then lays it back to Stanway, tees up Hemp, and it's a really placed effort right in the bottom corner, just beyond the dive of Van Domselaar. And it's a very quick 1-2 jab, and out of nowhere, it's 60 minutes played. Suddenly it's 2-2. The entire first half and the calamities involved have been wiped. They're erased. They don't exist anymore. It's a level playing field. We've just got to get 2 more goals, and we're away. And to be honest, Netherlands offered nothing. in that second half. And there was one counter, and that was it. So yes, great. We've got the momentum. Let's go and get the goal. Unfortunately, the momentum sort of tapered after that. We didn't really, we weren't able to sustain it. I know there were a lot of substitutions. Netherlands made a lot of substitutions, I think, to help shore up the defence. But it was a great goal to get us level, but we struggled after that to sustain it, sadly. And yeah, I think it was about 30 minutes before we eventually got the critical third.
And that third goal did come after a bit of more substitution. Alatoon came on, as well as Alessio Russo. So we had the United fans probably slightly cheering somewhere in the background. And it just, Alatoon, right place, right time. Third time she scored a goal, a goal of this mahoosiveness, I think.
It's probably
the
the biggest
right
goal.
words.
It's the biggest goal she scored since the equaliser against Spain.
I
Although her semi-final goal was pretty important as well against Australia.
I would say at Wembley this is her third goal. So the final is
the finalists. I forgot the finalists. Yeah, and the World. Yes,
World Cup.
Yeah.
Not the World Cup final.
Euros.
The Euros
How can you guys
final.
forget that one? That one was a cracker. Even I can agree to that. I was sitting on the lower tier. That was a wicked goal from Tooney.
Yeah.
And now getting the 3 points against the Netherlands, it was huge, but unfortunately, it just cut it a bit too short as
it was.
Time went by.
It was. I mean, again, loading the box, and the Netherlands only had two defenders. I think with a 4v2 in the box when another Lauren James cross came in, and yet Tooney at the back post, through the legs of the keeper, but we just didn't have enough time. I mean, straight up to the halfway line. Let's go and get that fourth goal. And if we got that fourth goal, we are ahead of the Netherlands going into the final game, and it's just about beating Scotland, and we just couldn't find it. And it was a bit harem-scarum. I mean, you saw at the end of when the full, there was a few half moments, I call them, if anything. We never got the clear-cut chance. We just didn't get that, that third goal in time. And full time, I think both teams, all the players in both teams were devastated. Netherlands knew that they would have won the group. I think, or they would have, pretty much killed off England had they won that game. They'd lost that game. England knew they'd blown their chance, a chance which I quite frankly did not see coming in that first half. I want to say shout out for Esme Morgan because she came on for Jess Carter, and I fall back to what I said earlier about connections. Morgan plays in defence with Alex Greenwood at Manchester City, and they both play in the back four. So whatever you may say about talent and individual skill, you've at least got a level of chemistry there where the two of them can coexist in that defence, and I think that did help. I think there was one chance the Dutch had in that second half just before Toon got the winner, and that was stopped. I think Martin's on the counter, and it's Esme Morgan with a last-ditch sliding tackle that takes the ball off her, and about a few minutes later, we get the winner. So we came away cheering. Great, we got the win. 3 points, fantastic. We're level with the Netherlands, and it will all therefore come down to the final set of games.
And we'll just have a quick break, and we'll be back with you shortly.
Quickly gets it back again. Oh, what a goal! Well, that sums up her season.
And welcome back. So the game against Scotland, it was another game at Hampton Park. It's been a bit of a I'm trying to stop using the words I usually use. It's been a good ground to go to in the past for England, and England versus Scotland, it's always got some sort of bite to it, no matter how you look at it. What were your thoughts going into this game?
I was confident of getting the win, but not the result. That was or getting the result that we'll need. We should clarify, and this was what made the whole thing so exciting, because this wasn't just a game. But England were having to play two games at once. They were having to beat Scotland, but also beat the Netherlands, who were playing Belgium. and that is to do with the fact of the goal difference. England had to be, I think it was more than 3 goals ahead. They had a 3-goal deficit they had to make up on the Netherlands, and then hope that either Belgium do them a favour, or they were able to, if Netherlands do win, they are 3 goals further ahead. Now, England were lucky in the sense that they had to play Scotland. Scotland were already out, and they were the team pretty much everybody were beating. The Netherlands beat them 4-0 early in the tournament, early in the qualifications, hence why they had the better goal difference. So I was confident that we would beat Scotland. But my feeling was, would we get enough goals on the night? And whilst we were great attacking in the second half against the Netherlands, defensively we were suspect, and we haven't been that great in the previous games. So yeah, bit of a mix feeling, but you never know. I thought, you never know, Belgium might do us a favour. They might be defensively strong. They did beat the Netherlands earlier, if you remember the first game of the qualifiers, although this time the Netherlands are at home. So it was, excitement, intrigue, nervousness, sort of a bit of a cluster of all three. And then for the key thing is we score early. If we score early, we'll be absolutely fine, and then we can get that scoreboard ticking over as quick as we can.
And it was one of those games where it's very odd to begin with. Let's just put it into perspective. Team GB do not qualify unless anyone other than England managed to qualify. So just for this to work, essentially England, Wales, Scotland could have all been drawn into one group.
And Northern Ireland.
And no, Northern Ireland were in the lower.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant in terms of making up Team GB.
Sorry, but for the let's say all four are drawn into the same group. The only one that would be available to qualify would be England. So say Wales qualify above England, Team GB doesn't get a place at the Olympics in Paris in the summer. And it's such an oddity for that to happen, because it's 4 nations that come together every 4 years to say, come on, let's bring our sports together and combine our efforts and make sure that we fly the flag, get those gold medals. I would have thought that Team GB would have had a huge opportunity to go and get that gold medal come Paris.
It would have been, the thing was, I think, the whole thing with the Scotland thing was there was an argument of conflict of interest, which came up a lot in the pre-match interviews, because you could be a situation where Scotland could try and throw the game essentially by a high score, knowing that if they lose heavily, they're in the Olympics, which is mad. Which caused a huge bit of consternation when the Scottish players, it was suggested to the Scottish team in the pre-match conference. I think they made it quite clear that England v Scotland, the rivalry, rightly, is so intense, there is not a chance that they would throw the game. They would sooner win that game and not go to Olympics. And this is rightly so. They would rather win that game, beat England, and not go to Olympics than, well, lose 10-0, shall we say, but then be on the plane, because standards must be met. So, yeah, I do get that. I think that's a mistake by UEFA. Whilst I agree with the Nations League concept, and I think it's been great that we've had actual competitive games. It's not been 10-0 and 20-0 against Latvia. It was just like, it was a nonsense. Like, what's the point? What's the point of us playing Macedonia, North Macedonia, Albania, Latvia? These are the games you want to play. Games of an equal level where there is genuine jeopardy, where there are stakes, and where you can't just play any player and get away with it. This has been this whole New Nations League has been probably England's proper outside tournament football, a proper major test. Probably maybe since the She Believes Cups, or maybe the first Arnold Clark Cup, but that's obviously just a small bubble in a few days. This has been stretched over a few months. It's been proper football, home and away trips. I think it's been brilliant, and it's really pushed this England team to really find where are the flaws. And I think it's found a lot of flaws as we found it in the build up to this game. So we knew the stakes. We knew we need to be more than 3 goals ahead, and we got the early goal, thankfully. It was clear from the off. England showed their intent, which they've always scored. England showed their intent right from the off, because literally it was straight on the attack. There was no attempt to pass the ball around, maybe look for opportunity. No, it was go, 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 go. They were on a mission, and they thankfully did get that goal. And you got to say, it was poor defending from Scotland.
Yes, and it came from Beth Mead, who was on the pitch for the first time from the starting 11. Beth delivers the corner straight onto Alex Greenwood's head. It felt like it was a fluff of a header, but she manages to put it straight past the Scottish goalkeeper, who's eluding me at the moment, and straight into the back of the net. And again, very much the same intent as last time. Put the ball on the back, bring the ball, try and get it back into the centre circle as quickly as possible. Yep. Game on.
Very poor defending. I mean, it's literally Greenwood is pretty much standing on the penalty spot, and it's right at her. This is a phrase we're going to place a lot, but I've no idea what the Scottish defence were doing. And I should make it abundantly clear, at no point did I think they were trying to throw the game. Just like, we're not saying it was bad because they were deliberately being bad and it was like some big conspiracy. No, they were just bad. Really bad defensively. And this was the first of many moments. So, yeah, it was England off the mark. And I was hoping that this was going to trigger almost like an avalanche, that it was going to be the first of many enough goals to get over the line. You know, I was thinking, get to three goals at least before half time. Let's get that deficit done first, and then we've got a base camp and we can kick on. So yeah, thrilled with the Greenwood goal, and it was just a case of wait, when's the next goal? Hemp had a chance. Great work from Lauren James on the left on the counter, low crossed, and the only problem with Hemp was it's so casual. I think she thought she'd scored before she connected with the ball. It's a really poor finish. It cannons off the post, and you're just thinking we've got to be so ruthless. We've got to be so ruthless and so efficient and take every single chance that comes our way, because as much as we want to have a cricket score, we can't afford to just choke up chances. And I think we got up to sort of 30 minutes, and I was actually thinking that Scotland had sort of stabilised. And there were actually been quite a few threatening runs at our back line. Evans was making charge of. She tried to win a penalty. It was never a penalty. It was more of a dive more than anything else. But you had lots of Evans and Hansen making very threatening runs at our defence. And it's just a case of we've got to make sure, as much as we're going for this, we don't get stung on the counter, because the moment we concede a goal, the game's pretty much gone, because that's such a massive setback. And this is what I'm saying about this, the whole 4D chess. It's the whole thing of you're playing this game, but you're also playing the other game as well. And whilst we're hearing that what's happening, we're hearing about what's happening over in the Netherlands and how they're getting on. And it's a balance of knowing, do I keep overcommit, or are we in a position of safety? And it created a great level of jeopardy that I don't think I've ever experienced a football fan watching. The only thing I compared to, and I didn't have obviously a personal horse in this, was the Aguero title win, when you had United and Man City, trying to, and the goal difference, the goals, the game was losing, the game was winning, last minute. That was sort of where we were at, and yes, it was just a case of we need to get that second goal. That was the thing, and it seemed to take forever.
Yeah, I would probably call it more of like a relegation, a dogfight at the end of the season.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
So final day, everyone's on similar points. They know what they need to do. It might come down to goal difference at the end. All they need to do is win and get X amount of goals, and they stay up. And that, again, that title, relegation battle, whatever you want to call it, last day of the season sort of vibe. Actually, yeah, you know what? Yeah, in kind of a way, the Arsenal game against West Ham at the end of the season a couple of years ago.
I mean, that's another one. I mean, points weren't level, but there was that element of what's happening on the other side. What's happening on the other side of London? Are we ahead? Are we behind? Do we need to go for it more? And I think there is a worth of there being stakes on it, because it's not great when you get to the last game of the group stage and it's a dead rubber because it's all been decided. The fact that it was still, I mean, Belgium. We should actually say Belgium was still in this fight. They had an outside chance, but they could have made top as well. And I think that's testament to the quality of the group and the competitiveness of the group. The fact that pretty much every team, Belgium, Scotland, and England, had all made mistakes prior to this game. They both made mistakes where they had lost games or drawn games they should have won. And I think that just shows how good this group has been. So yeah, that fair play to all of them.
And to just call it just before our time, 37 and 38 minutes, Lauren James scores back-to-back outside the box goals. Just it's an oddity because at times you see Lauren James and she'll continue to have those shots, and either they go wide, they'll go over the bar, they'll get blocked. But this time, just all this time and space in the world, and they've just gone in.
So the first one's got a massive deflection on it. And when you try to build up a cricket score like we were trying to do, you need a bit of luck. It takes a wicked deflection and keeper's got no chance. Second goal is an absolute perler. It is a thing of beauty. I think it's Neve Charles makes the initial dart, lays it back, and James bends it into the top corner. It's a superb finish. And I said about the Netherlands game, the quick 1-2, the quick 1-2 jab that we got to get level. This got us the magic 3. This was the magic 3 goals that we needed to say, right, okay, we've leveled up the game now. It's now we've wiped out the deficit, and we are the ones in control. We weren't the ones in control because sadly Bernstein scored for the Netherlands against Belgium, and this again comes to the sort of the cat and dog sort of chasing each other. Who's going to get that nudge ahead on the finish line? So now it's like, right, the emphasis is now back on us. We need to get the goal, and we did. And I think it was Lauren James again. She had a superb first half for England, 2 goals, and then this one, literally right on the end of half time. It's a ball over top, deep cross, Mead at the back post, 1 touch to control, and a volley at the near post. I think the keeper could do better, to be honest. I think the keeper should have saved it, but it's in. And we've stolen the 4th right on the halftime whistle. And at that point, I thought, yeah, we're in control now. Both teams at halftime. I think it was Netherlands was 1-0 at halftime. I think it was. I'll just double check my notes.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Lauren James crosses the ball into Beth Mead for the 4th just before halftime. It was a great finish, and it was nice to see Beth on the score sheet again.
Yeah,
for England.
First start since her ACL. First off for England, should I say, since obviously having a ACL injury, and she came back and got an assist, got a goal, and we know what Beth Mead brings. And I think England, not just Arsenal, but England have missed Beth Mead in their attack. We know how crucial she was during the Euros, not just the goals, but the pressing, the assists, the pace and the energy. We've got really talented wingers in the likes of Lauren James and Hemp and Chloe Kelly who get their talents to the table, and they are crucial. But I don't think we've got a player that does what Mead does. And what Mead offers is what Serena wants in a winger. It's the high energy, it's the high press. And throughout that first half, Mead and Lauren James were an absolute nuisance. Hemp was the lead striker again. And while she did obviously chip in with a goal against Netherlands, I don't think she had a great game this time around. I think it was Serena's choice. She wanted Hemp as the main striker for these 2 games. I think maybe that was a mistake, but what's done is done. But half time, 4-0 up, and at that point I thought, yeah, we're going to do it. I was very confident to do it. I thought we got the 4 goals. Scotland looked spent, if I'm honest. The bizarre thing about Scotland is there was nothing in their previous games. Maybe the Netherlands game, but that was away in the Netherlands. They lost that game 4-0, but you can sort of write it off. Away from home, Netherlands, fair enough. But there was nothing in their home games to suggest that this would happen, because they drew 1-1 with Belgium, and I think they got a 0-0 draw against the Netherlands at home. They got 2 very credible draws. So all the noise going in would suggest that this would be a very tight game, as it was in the home game against Scotland at the beginning of the campaign. The 4-0 at half time was not on the cards, but I thought, right, England have clicked. The attack, it's on it. They know it. again, we spoke earlier about the chemistry connections. The attack was working. There was the chemistry, the connections. Every player knew their role. Every player knew what the goal was, what they had to do, where they needed to be, where to find each other. The goals are flowing. 4-0 at half time. Fantastic. Let's kick on in the second half and keep, as I say in Scotland, Scotland in rugby, keep the scoreboard ticking over. You know, the whole thing rugby is when you got the lead, you don't sit back. You get those penalties, you get those goals, you get those tries. You keep the scoreboard ticking over. You assert your dominance, and you push further and further ahead. And the problem with England is they didn't do that.
However, the first couple of minutes we did score another one. Fran Kirby, it's nice to see her on the score sheet again. It's a nice and easy tap in for her again. Bringing the ball back into the centre circle as quickly as possible, because you know it's almost like a reset.
This was the thing. This is the thing. So this was 49 minutes in. So there's 4 minutes in the second half, and again, Scottish defence is woeful. It is. I'm sorry. It's near criminal now. So Stanway makes a burst to the byline. She's been shepherded by a defender. They've got two defenders in the box, and I think they just think the ball's going out of play, and they just stop. They stop, and then Stanway gets the cross in. Nobody reacts. The goalkeeper, the two defenders, they just watch the ball pass the 6-yard box, and Kirby goes, "Thank you very much," races in, stabs it in. It's 5-0. Now 5-0 at 49 minutes. You got the rest of the half to keep the momentum going, and at that point, England's attack stopped. The tap just stopped, and we'll get on to obviously how that all panned out. There are many reasons why what happened in the end, and I think focusing on this game would be a mistake. But I think England could have done it if they hadn't lost the momentum that they had at 5-0. At 5-0, it was there for them to keep on going, and they didn't. They didn't push it on, and I think Kirby hit the crossbar. Lauren Hemp had another great chance. It was a 1v1 with the keeper. Went for power, not for placement. Duffed it. Russo and Toon came on just as they did against the Netherlands, and didn't really, apart from obviously what happened at the very, very, very end, offered nothing. If anything, it looked like we were more likely to concede, because obviously we're pushing on and we're trying to find this goal. And I think Scotland finally got their defence sorted. We couldn't do it, and then there were two moments at the back. There was an undercooked back pass. Mary Earps did very well to prevent, and then I think it was right near the end, she almost redeems herself from the mistake in the Netherlands. There's a header from England don't clear the ball properly. As the cross comes in, there's a header, and there's a brilliant save to tip it onto the post. And it's a mass scramble. We should say at this point, though, England were there. So at the time, I think just after Kirby had scored, I think a bit later, I think Bernstein had scored a second goal.
Yeah.
So the Netherlands were leading 2-0 against Belgium, but we were winning 5-0, and it come down ridiculously to goals scored. That's where we were. The point goal difference was the same. The head-to-heads were the same. The points were the same. It was coming at the finest of margins. The goals scored, and so, looking at how the games lined up, we knew that we knew that the Netherlands game was going to finish later. We were going to finish first. And so you're just sort of looking at the clock and you're just hoping that you're not going to hear any more news from the Netherlands apart from the full-time whistle.
Unless Belgium score.
If Belgium scored, we're there pretty much. And I would say I talk about comparisons. It's, again, we'll bring another one, but it's like end of last season when we're in Meadow Park and we're hoping that Everton are going to do us a favour at Man City to try and steal that last Champions League spot, because again we were level and it's all points difference, and you know we didn't lose by enough. That's the weird thing. In that one, we didn't lose by enough to lose it. Yeah, we lost 2-0, but we were still able to cling on. But then Toon makes one final raid up the left wing. One final cross into the box, and Bronze from nowhere heads in a 6th goal for England. And at that point, I thought we'd done it.
And it's the beauty of football, because at some point there's the highs, and then the next minute it could be very much the lows. It was a fantastic game all round. Lucy bronze. You've already mentioned the Martha Thomas header, which I was going to talk about. You covered it brilliantly, so I won't talk about that very much. But again, it was brilliantly well defended all round from everyone, because as soon as Earps made that save, the whole of that back line just decided, right, we need to move in on this as quickly as can and just get it away as quickly as possible. Lucy Bronze going up the other end and scoring a header. She does love a header though in an England shirt.
She does love a header. She got a good one against I think it was Belgium. I think it was when Belgium she got one.
There's a couple in the World Cup as well.
Couple World Cup, yeah,
in World Cups and Euros. And things.
No, I mean, as much as she loves a worldie, she does love a good header as well. Now, what's come out since in the news, in the interviews and so forth after the game is, and I wasn't aware of this at the time, so I had my Twitter feed open, trying to get updates of what's happening in the Netherlands, and there's a lot of reactions, and by the sounds of things, it's Belgium are defending for their lives, Netherlands are piling on the pressure because they know they need to get that goal, and they did. And it was Damaris who got a goal to put them 3-0 up in added time where they were. So they were slightly behind us. So a message gets basically down onto the dugout that they've said Netherlands have scored. we need another goal against Scotland. We're out, and that is why there's that last attack on the Scottish goal. Because I thought this was just the clincher. I thought Netherlands were 2 down, and this would just basically gives us that breathing space, and that was the big thing. And this was second half, we didn't have that breathing space. Bronze gets that goal, swings back to us. We've done it. The final whistle goes. Our Nations League is over. We've done it. We're there. We've just got to wait for the Netherlands game to finish. There's only a few seconds left. With 30 seconds left, Damaris gets her second, the Netherlands fourth, and it's all over. And it's all over.
I've got to go on.
Go on, and it's all over.
It is a bit bittersweet, but at the same time, you look at the issues that go around this. So that means that England will be playing the Arnold Clark Cup in February. They won't be playing in the playoffs for a chance to play in the Olympics, because the way it's gone is basically France have to also qualify for the tournament, which is a bit bizarre as well. So it's between the Netherlands, France, Spain, and Germany for 3 spots that are, again, I've said it again. World Cup. I mean, Olympics. It's bizarre.
Yeah, it's a bizarre one. So should actually basically you qualify for the Olympics if you make it into the top 2 slots. So if you make so the idea is if you make it to the Nations League final, first or second place, you're in. And then France would therefore take the 3rd slot. But because France have made it to the Nations League final, it adds the further complication. So now if France make the final of the Nations League, then whoever finishes 3rd will then be in the Olympics as well. Now it's pros and cons, because the football, women's football in this country is growing exponentially. We've seen that with the fact that we've got, I think it's up to 57,000 tickets sold with the Emirates Stadium. We've had over 70,000 at Wembley. Should say, shout out on that front, ITV, that was shameful of you to shunt the game onto ITV4. Women's game is a prime sport in our country now. The women's football game is. BBC had the Scotland-England game. They put it on BBC One. ITV, if that was the men's game, ITV would more likely, when ITV had the rights, obviously Channel 4 do it now, but when ITV had the rights, if it had been an England versus, I don't know, San Marino, dead rubber at Wembley, they would have put it on ITV1. But they shunted this on ITV4, which I thought was the Netherlands game, which I thought was absolutely criminal. But the interest is there. The interest is growing, and there's an element of we can't afford to waste a second of this moment that we have. And there's an element of the fact that we're not at the Olympics, we're not going to be as part of Team 2B, we're not going to be in the Nations League. There's an element of that is a massive opportunity wasted. It's a massive opportunity to bring success again for the Lionesses to follow up on the Euros and reaching a World Cup final. So there is that aspect. But we also know that the schedule has been incredibly harsh on a lot of the players. Condensed schedule, I should clarify, especially after the pandemic. The delayed Euros has meant that we've had 2 summer tournaments in a row, and then after the World Cup, it was straight into club football and doing the Champions League qualifiers. There's been little. I mean, we've got a Christmas break coming up, but there's been little time for extensive rest for the women's football. And part of the reason that is because the Olympics is seen as a major tournament. In an ordinary schedule, they'll play 3 summer tournaments in a row and then get a summer off, rather than the men's who basically have an on-off sort of schedule. So we've almost been gifted a chance for the players to just stop for a summer and just rest. I look at what's happened with Beth Mead and Fifin Miedemar and Leah Williamson and Laura Wienreuter. The ACLs they suffered for us last season. There's been further this season. We look at Gabby George. We look at Emma Watson, I think, at Man United. There's been a recent one. I think it's Nowen at Chelsea. She's just done her ACL. Obviously, there is rumours and speculation of why there might or may not be. But at the end of the day, I think the fact that we are pushing these players to their limits to play so much football is, I think, undeniably a factor. And I think this is an opportunity for England players to get so much to rest. And also, the qualifiers for the Euros don't start for quite a while. But what we're going to have is a lot of friendlies and the Arnold Clark Cup. And again, plugging back to my piece, I wrote, this is an opportunity for Serena because she prefers to play with a smaller pool of players and concentrates them and makes that smaller group strong together. And that's why we won the Euros. But what it's meant is that there's been limited options. Should, say, their best forward and their best defender get an ACL, suddenly it's all like, we saw what happened in the Nations League and we saw what happened when we tried to do a back four at the World Cup. So now she has the option of a run of games that she can use where there are no stakes, but there is time to maybe bleed in the next wave of lionesses that's going to take this team through the Euros, because some of them are reaching their lifespan. We cannot run career span, I should say. Lifespan, it's a bit bleak, but we cannot rely on the likes of Lucy Bronze forever. There has to be an element of succession, and that applies to a lot of the players in the team. So it's the likes of, can we bleed Lotte Wubben-Moy into this team? Can we integrate the likes of Maya Letitia into the team? The likes of some of the players that had on the bench, obviously Esme Morgan was there, but Cara Keating, goalkeeper, very talented goalkeeper. Mary Epps is number 1, but is there room for maybe her or Hannah Hampton? You look for the list. Can we get more out of maybe Toon and Russo? Are they the starters? Are they the finishers? They were the finishers at the Euros. If I'm brutally honest, I don't think either of them had an outstanding Nations League. I think Russo underperformed in the Nations League games. I think she obviously got the goal in the way of Netherlands, but wasn't really on form throughout. Toon only really came alive in the right into the Netherlands game. So yes, Serena has now got time. She's got time to rebuild. She's got time to expand her pool of options. But also the likes of Leah Williamson, who's going to be coming back from an ACL, may not be good for her to have been thrown immediately into a summer tournament, be captain, say, right, you're captain Team GB, you've just come back from an ACL, now you're leading the Team GB at the Olympics. Might have not been ideal. So at least we know she'll get the summer off to come back even stronger next season. So it's a gut punch. I think what hurts is that it was so close. It was just 1 goal. And it's very easy to go back through every single game in the Nations League and think, that game, that should have been a draw. We conceded that goal. We shouldn't have done that. We missed an opportunity. Every game we could look back on, there was an opportunity that we could have done it. That's the main thing. We could have done it. We could have got to the Nations League, and we didn't. And now the challenge for Serena will need be to make sure that doesn't happen again. That the next time there's Nations League we are on it from the off. Our defence is correct. We're not jumping to the back 3 and the back 4, and we're playing defenders that can play the defensive system. We're playing attackers that have the chemistry, that know how to combine together with a midfield that's functional, that doesn't get overrun. Let's say like Spain did us at the World Cup. We have a team that is fully fit and fully on song and has enough options to give us some cover. That's what Serena has to do now.
And we're going to head towards the end now. Plenty of rest. We don't even know what England's next fixtures will be. It's going to have to be the Arnold Clark Cup. The positive I would probably take away from this, at least it's not a relegation playoff, which could have been the alternative.
Yes. So we should just add on that one. So that obviously there was a group of four. The team that finished first goes to Nations League. The team that finishes third goes into the relegation playoff system, and the team that finishes fourth drops out completely. So Scotland were relegated from the group. Can't say I'm surprised. Question marks over Pedro, I believe his name is, ex-Arsenal manager.
Pedro Martinez Losada, something like
that. Losada was a midfielder who played for Arsenal during his time.
Not to be yes, I'm thinking of Vicky Losada.
You are. Pedro was the manager of Arsenal. So Scotland went from one Arsenal manager that sort of failed to another Arsenal manager who, to be honest, was slightly better, but not great. Did win us the FA Cup. We're very grateful for that. And they didn't really, apart from 2 draws, didn't really offer much in the Nations League. And I think it's a shame for Scotland because there is so much talent in that team. We've seen it in the WSL, the likes of Cuthbert, the likes of Evans. Martha Thomas is doing great things with Spurs. You've got lots of Hansen and Caroline Weir, who sadly I think is out of another one out of an AC at the moment. There is so much talent in that team that is being massively wasted, underutilized, not filling their potential. That's the one I want. And they should have done better in this Nations League. They're now relegated. They're in the lower tier. Belgium, I think, had a very good Nations League. Got some good scalps. Just fell short. I hope they win their relegation playoff because they deserve to play at this level. They are a rising team. I can't wait for that. For us, England, we merely stay as we are. And I think that is probably a fair reflection of where we are at the moment with this team. And hopefully that gives us enough of a warning shot to look to kick on again.
I think this is a great thing as well because you can sort of see where you are in the cycle that a lot of teams are in. It's not like it's not like a unfair assessment, shall we say, where half teams are okay. You got a qualifier against Latvia, and you put half the rotated team out, and everyone's scoring hat tricks and things like that against under 17 players because their first team can't play because they got full-time jobs, etc.
Just on that one, just to say, because often with if you want your team examined, you have to wait 2 years. And just to be honest, as much as we love the Arnold Clark Cup, the one we had early in the year wasn't much of a stretch. The one when we had Spain and Germany and Canada, that was a proper examination. I hope we can get an Arnold Clark Cup of that strength. If we are doing, we should say that's not been confirmed. I mean, this is hypothetical. I hope it does come back, and I hope we do get 3 really good, high caliber, high quality teams in to compete in that one, and 3 teams that are really going to push England. But yeah, this Advanced Nations League is we get an examination outside tournament football, and it means we don't waste the time we have now to build, because now we've got a clear idea of great, you reached the World Cup final, but we now know what our problems are and now know what to fix, and we can diagnose and get those fixed now rather than get caught out 2 years time when we go to the Euros and this sort of stuff happens.
And just on Scotland as well, there are Scotland fans out there that are saying that they've had enough of the manager.
I don't blame them. Don't blame them.
It does. If you're a Scotland manager, a Scotland fan even, it's difficult to say because there's not many that have international experience that are capable. You'd probably want some sort of development manager. I wouldn't be surprised if they picked their under 23s or under 19s manager, or maybe just have an interim for the moment, and then they can slowly build on come the end of the season. They might try go for the Glasgow City manager. They might decide to go for their Celtic manager. They might Rangers, whatever it may be.
There's enough talent there to compete with the higher order. And I think back to when they got to the World Cup last time they got to the World Cup, they should have got out the group. and they chucked it in the Euros. They should have got out of the group in the Euros, and again they chucked it. And then I think they missed out on the Euros with a very late result. I think it was a late defeat. They are a better team than they are being managed, and they need to get. I mean, he's probably going to stay in, Pedro. There's obviously there's nothing to case he's going to be sacked, but I don't think he's the right man for the job. I think there are better coaches out there who could have a better swing in it and make that Scottish team into a very competent, dangerous team, because there is a lot of talent in there, and that is not being fulfilled. So I totally sympathise with the fans who had enough of Pedro. But it's trying to find a manager that's free and of decent quality, who can get the best out of them, and that is going to be a struggle.
And we'll finish there tonight. Thank you all for joining us tonight. You can find us on the Vic Akers Wonderland YouTube channel. We are on Spotify. We are also on Apple Podcasts. You can also follow the account at VAW Pods. And we hope to see you all soon. Goodbye.